hanging around for us. So. Okay. Hello, 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 dear, beautiful, amazing souls. Thank you all so much for joining in on this beautiful Sunday morning for the Ascended Creator Connection. I'm really honored to be joined today by the beautiful Jennifer. And we do have Allis as well, who's here. And anybody else that may be joining in the future, we will include their information. But today, we are gathered together to share our paths, our journeys from where we have grown since we connected in Sedona last September. We gathered in the beautiful Arizona at the Moondance Sanctuary with a group of content creators, mostly from TikTok, but a variety. We had some Instagram friends there as well. And we gathered in Sedona to be able to share wisdom, inspiration, and growth, and to be able to help assist in the shift in consciousness. And as we all arrived in Sedona, I think we all had different expectations of what the retreat would be and where we would go moving forward. And so today, I just wanted to give us space to share a little bit about our experience in Sedona and how we have grown since then. I know that my journey has been very expansive. I have learned a lot, and I feel very honored to be able to share the wisdom that I've gained since then. And I know that the beautiful souls with me today have a lot of really lovely wisdom to share as well. So we want to just get started today by saying a little bit of gratitude. I'm so grateful to be here with you guys. I'm truly grateful to have this experience to be able to share about. And I'm also really grateful for the many connections that I have been able to grow in since Sedona. So that's my gratitude. Hi, Pixie Mom. Hi, Lala. Hi, Jafar. Thanks for joining. I'm going to pass the talking stick along.
I am grateful for this space, and I am grateful for all the beautiful souls that I met, had the honor to meet while we were in Sedona and get to know, many of which I still continue to enjoy a relationship with since. And it's been it was a pivotal point on my journey that I'm eternally grateful for. I'm not sure that I would be where I am today had that event not happened. So that's where my gratitude is centered at the moment.
I love you, Jen, so much. Like you and I, we have made it through many portals since Sedona. So yes, very grateful for you.
Hello. Excuse me. I'm a little sick right now, so I was so excited that this was happening. Yeah, because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to reconnect with everyone. I was not physically in Sedona, but I did a little light language presentation online. And it's so funny because at that time I was working, I was trying to work full-time doing Reiki and tarot at a tattoo shop, interestingly enough. And it just was not working. It wasn't there were just these little things that kept happening, and it just wasn't the path. And I wound up going back to a job that I had before the pandemic and before my whole spiritual awakening. And it really cast me asunder a little bit. It blew up everything that I'd been working on, but then it was also kind of an official, you can't go back to life the way that it was before. And I think part of me was always maybe I'll just go back to sleep. Maybe I'll just pretend this whole spiritual awakening never happened. And the universe truly, over the past couple of months, it's been settling in where it's you cannot go back, but you also are onto something totally new. It's different from the spiritual awakening cocoon. It's different from the life that you had before. It's a totally new thing. And there's a lot of growing pains. It hurts to be to have another ego death after like the first, like I only had one like 2 years ago, right? Like everything's different again. And just being like, wow, I think I know I'm gonna get through it. There's no other way to do it. And like just think about like what I'm gonna have to do, who I'm gonna have to become in order to really integrate all of this. I'm feeling really humbled. I think humbled is like the biggest thing on my path, and trying not to like I was putting myself out there, like doing like readings and everything. And I still do that. But now I'm also being like, listen, I'm doing this for me. I'm taking my own time, not feeling ashamed when I do need to pull back. But then also trying to find the balance of like, okay, well, how do I form community in this way too? So yeah, I'm feeling like really grateful for you, Kristen, and your space. Yeah. So thank you so much.
Oh my goodness, Alice, I resonate with that so much because when I started Sedona, I also was working full time doing my Reiki and my readings and retreats. And I was like transitioning out of the corporate world and management into my own space. And I was feeling super confident. And then Sedona happened and nothing went to plan, like literally nothing went to plan. And that's fine because we all learned and grew from it. But it was just like, after Sedona, I also went back to like a 3D job where I was totally immersed within my physical reality and no spirituality was allowed in because it was like, no, I need to just focus on this other stuff for a while. And so I really resonate with that of being like, wow, it's been almost a whole year and I'm just now getting back to like feeling confident in doing readings and like taking on Reiki clients. And, you know, I think that's the thing that's so important about it is that it's like, especially along our spiritual journey, as we grow, as we unfold, it's okay to take a step backwards because you're not actually stepping backwards, right? It's a spiral, it's unfolding. And so like, you're always where you're supposed to be. Like, that's the biggest lesson that I've learned. Always, 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 you are exactly where you're meant to be. But also like, let yourself experience those moments. I'm grateful you said like you allowed yourself the ego death because it's like I struggled with mine. I fought it hard. I was like, no, I'm not going back to that place. I've already been there. I'm not doing that again. But it came regardless, like whether I wanted it to or not. So.
It's gonna come. So you just
yeah. So
yeah. Yeah. The message that I got that I was like guided to during the time when it was like when I was like really facing like, oh, I think I'm on a totally different, I think like I only knew what I could know at the time and it wasn't enough, but now I know what I didn't know. And then the word that was coming to me and what I ultimately found was metanoia. And there is this because I felt like this presence around me is this like concept of when you experience such a deep regret or remorse or like a shock of some kind that you are like forced to turn to God. You're like forced to realize like, oh my gosh, I couldn't have known that this was happening. I forgot that I'm a part of a greater thing here. I was letting my ego think that I had control over these situations. But the angel of metanoia is essentially like the devil, because they're like, look at all this stuff you didn't know or you didn't do, like this, like really facing your own life. But then will also is like, but I'm not leaving you. I'll hold your hands through this. And like, you're never alone. So it truly has been like, I felt more connected to spirit than I have in like a long time recently, but like at what cost?
At what cost? Exactly. That's why the other thing you mentioned that I wanted to speak on too was the fact that you said like I'm doing this at my pace. Like I'm doing what works for me because this is from my soul. Like this is my heart and soul project. It's not about money. Yeah. It's not about success. That's another thing. Like I've learned success. What is success? Like let's just think about it for a minute. What is success to you? And I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this. Success is something that I have found is something that only I can truly define, because at the end of the day, when I'm done doing the thing that is supposed to be successful, how do I feel? And that to me is what really honors my name of success. Like if I can feel like I showed up in the way that I wanted to and I was able to express myself and I was able to hold space and like whatever the thing may be, like if I feel good and complete within it, then all of the outside things don't matter anymore. That's my experience. So I'd love to hear some of your all's thoughts on what success is. But real quick, I wanted to share some of the chat because Rising Starseed and Pixie Mom have been sharing some really great stuff. So Lala says, Isn't it so amazing how the pandemic really awakened so many people, and things can never be the same after you are awake and aware? And Pixie Mom says, grateful for new friendships, attracting healthy blessings on this journey, and having support of my healing, and to be able to share with those who appreciate my silly self. Yes, Pixie Mom, more silly self, please. We love that in this world. And then Lala says, I don't know if I would have connected with all of you virtually if it weren't for the isolation of the pandemic that caused me to seek and crave connection with like-minded people. Yes, absolutely.
Definitely.
And also, just like a quick shout out to the Paradigm Shift community and Brendan Mystic Spider-Man for creating a lot of the virtual spaces that many of us connected in the first place. Like, it's understanding that we were all brought together in a really beautiful container, and we've all grown and unfolded. So just shout out to that. If you want to connect with them, their information is listed down below the video. So what is success to you guys? I want to hear.
I'll uh, try to address that from my perspective. I guess the first thing that I guess I need to preface it by saying I can't believe it's not even been a year ago, but I'm no longer newly awakened. In Sedona, I was newly awakened both in name and in persona. And I was like a deer in headlights. And so I have been in the past year really focusing on discovering my authentic self and peeling back the layers and deconstructing the societal programming and parental instruction, and one of the things that I have peeled back is my definition of success. At the time we were in Sedona, I was probably at the pinnacle of my corporate career. I worked for AT&T for 30 years as a project manager and made six figures. So that at the point in time we were in Sedona, that was my definition of success. Sedona, I was a success. I felt like I was a success because I could fund Sedona for everyone. And I felt like that was that was an accomplishment. But given the growth that I've gone through, that is so far from my definition of success now. First of all, I have learned that I decide what my definition of success is. That I'm not here to please my mother. I'm not here to please my boss. It is my success comes from me. And I have decided that my definition of success is joy. My authentic self is naturally happy. When I wake up in the morning, I want to wake up happy. And I want to remain joyful unless or until there is something in the now moment that needs a different perspective. That spark, I used to have that spark. I used to be that way. and it got extinguished during because of all the programming, all of the outward programming. And I am doing success to me will be when I can once again ignite that spark and be a naturally joyful person, regardless of where I am or who I am with. So that is my goal.
I love, love, love that answer for you, Jen. And I just want to honor you and honor your growth and your journey and being able to walk hand in hand with one another as we have grown and understood what that joy means. And I can tell you just from our trip in Florida, waking up on the beach and seeing the sunrise every day, I have seen that joyous Jen that wakes up in the morning. So I know she exists. I know she's there. I know she's real. And I know she can come out. And I send you lots of love and support as you connect deeper with her and are able to feel her more fully in your own way, in your own expression. So thank you for sharing your success with us.
Thank you. Thank you for helping me evolve the definition.
Yes. Allis, did you feel called to share?
Oh my God, Jen, that was so beautiful. That that's it. Like, of course, that success is when you can be your most joyous, authentic self every day. Absolutely. And it's that's also been like, it's such a guiding light to have that standard for oneself, to be like, well, I know that I deserve to be joyous, to like be so happy I'm alive and to be connected to spirit and to really feel that. And so sometimes when we're in a situation where we're like, I don't really know what is going on, or like, but I know that I feel bad and I know that I deserve to feel joyous. Sometimes that's like the only decision one has to make in order to eventually reach success. So I thought it was a beautiful insight. I don't think it needs anything. I think we all know what success is. Yeah, that's it exactly. So thank you so much for that.
Beautiful. I wanted to read Lala's mention in the comments as well. She said, success has to me morphed from an egoic madness of never ending seeking to achieving some goal or status to now success is being my authentic expression in truest form, no matter what job I have or what anyone else thinks. And I love that, Lala. I think we're all on a really good path towards finding our successes, and I'm really grateful to hear that we're finding it from within, because I think and I don't know, I feel called to share, we're just reflecting back on Sedona and the experiences that we had there, and like, what the definition of success was. And I think for me, whether you were there live or virtually, Allis, actually, you came in virtually at a time I needed you the most. I didn't know I needed you at the time, but I needed you so badly in that moment. And I will never forget seeing you come on and sharing your light language, because at the time light language was really still kind of like, like a lot of people were like, are these people just making this shit? Like, what is actually happening?
No, everyone does light language. It's old hat, whatever.
Yeah. So you came in and you were just like, I don't know what I'm doing, Kristen, but I want to be here and I want to do this thing. And I was just like, yes, let's do it. And anyways, it was a beautiful moment for me to be able to kind of like release control, because I needed to step away, and like, you didn't know exactly what you were stepping into, but you were like, okay, I'm doing it. And I think I left, like I had to leave, like I had needed space from the broadcast. And I'm pretty sure I remember you like at the end of it just being like, okay, well, I guess I did my thing, so bye. And then like, I wasn't there to be able to like hold you in that space. So thank you for being so independent and brave, but like also giving me the space to like step away and come back to my own center. So
I would never have guessed that at all, that you were like needed something else. Yeah, because like I think I was so nervous, and I was like, I'm so, yeah, it was such a strange thing to be doing, and like I wasn't even sure how I felt about sharing it yet. Like it was like a practice I was developing as I was sharing with people, and I was like, should I be doing that? So yeah, so your support and seeing you immediately was like, oh well, Kristen's here, so like I'll be okay. So I'm glad that we got each other through that.
Absolutely. And I think the only other thing that I want to bring in about Sedona specifically is the fact that we had so many amazing creators come together that were all vastly different. Every single person in that building or online, whether virtual or physical, all came from very different backgrounds, from beliefs, ideologies, thought processes. And it was so cool for me to be able to see us all come together and connect and really share our differences, but also to see where we all kind of were able to see where we were similar as well. And so I wanted to share a little bit about how I've grown in just being able to share my content and what I do since Sedona, because being able to connect with like-minded people who are also expressing themselves and learning as we go, because none of us truly know exactly what we're doing. We're always stepping into the next moment as it is new and fresh. So utilizing what we've learned as we move forward is important. But I think also understanding that it's okay to be a pioneer in your own right, in your own way. Like, we can learn from one another, we can borrow ideals, we can, try new things. But I think for me, the important lesson that I have learned is to be able to do things in a way that makes sense to me. Like, it can work a million times for everybody else, but I need to find what really works best and how I can be able to share from my authentic self. Like how we started this podcast today, talking about we're sharing more authentically and more of our real selves. And so I hope that's been able to reflect back in the content. I love to be able to see that. I know a lot of the creators that I've seen that are not necessarily with us here today, but I have seen a huge shift in everybody's content. And so just if anybody, I know Jen, you're not like tons of content, but I have seen your content expand even since Sedona as well. So if you guys want to talk a little bit just about our content and kind of how we've evolved from last year, I would love to share about that. Like I said, this is just an authentic space for us to be. So yeah, that's it. Alice, Jen looks like she.
The fact that I even have content is an expansion. I have recently, because my focus has been healing and trying to get to that point where the onion, at the core of the onion, where there's nothing left of the programming. And I've changed my name now, my username and on all of my platforms, to Gen X Healing. And I hope that what I feel called to do, I think, and this has just been a revelation to me. I feel like I've been in a cocoon for about 3 weeks. And I believe it's meant to be a double entendre. Jen, I'm going just by Jen now instead of Jennifer, as I did in my corporate career, because I feel I no longer feel attached to that old name. That's the old me that no longer exists. So I'm getting off on a tangent. I'm sorry, but the name Gen X Heals is for me because I, Jen, am healing, Jen with a J. But it's also for my generation. I believe that I am not the only 50-year-old out here having a spiritual awakening. And I think from day one, that's been my calling, but I just didn't really realize it or figure out, what I needed to do about it. But I've set up all my channels. I even have a YouTube channel now. I don't have any subscribers yet, but I'm getting ready. And the first video that I posted on my YouTube channel was the one that we did at the beach, where I finally released and let go to the universe. It took me 2 years to get to step one. So I feel like if I can start producing videos that show, the deconstruction process, the deprogramming. My generation was raised by baby boomers, and we pretty much raised ourselves, and we raised our parents. And that's, there's a lot of childhood trauma, I think, that is, I'm not going to say that Gen X is special or has a corner on the childhood trauma market. I'm just saying that there are some shared experiences with Generation X and the particular types of childhood trauma that a lot of us went through, that I feel like maybe I can help other people that are just now waking up, maybe help them peel through some of that stuff. And so that's kind of where I'm headed. I forgot the original question. Did I answer it?
Yes, and also thank you. Thank you. Somebody needs to do it. And I feel like you're perfect for the job. You have all the tools, you're connected, you're lovable, all the things. So I'm so excited. I just shared Jen's video down in the chat on YouTube. So if y'all are feeling called, click the link, go like the video, subscribe to Jen's channel so we can help pump her up and help all of the Gen Xers have some support. Because Lordy knows it is tough to reach out and ask when you're not used to it. And I love the fact that you mentioned like a lot of your generation really did raise yourself. Like as soon as you said that, I'm like thinking back to how many pictures have you seen of Gen Xers where they're like sitting on their parents' lap and they've got like a beer in one hand and a cigarette in the other, and like the kid's just sitting right in between, and it's like totally fine. Okay, so
yeah, exactly.
The world has changed in many, many beautiful ways, and we must adapt and evolve and change with it. And so I love that you are heading that cause. I think you're in alignment with your purpose, and it makes me feel so joyful on the inside. So
Well, thank you. It's the first time I've really vocalized it, so I appreciate the support and feedback very much.
you vocalized it beautifully. And you got another, so you now have 2 subscribers because Jen, you got me and Pixie Mom. So
Thank you. I'll send you a t-shirt. Number 1 and number 2.
I love that.
Oh my gosh. I loved all of that about the about like representing your generation as well. Because I feel like that's really like what is so scary about being someone who's like awake right now, is because you will, no matter what, sort of represents like who you're you're kind of like the one out of them to step up. So that's really beautiful. Thank you. And I also am going to be a subscriber, so I'm very excited for your, like, I think that I really love, like, out of my friends who I know, like, I don't know anyone who like makes YouTube videos or anything. And I really feel like all of them should, like, I'm like, it's so important to express yourself in this way. And to, now, like, the reality is half of your life is online, and it's like, you get to curate who you are for, for people to see, and like to create art with them, or like just share a story. And like, it's so important to do that. And I think that there is this, like, the it's not even like fear is the mind killer. It's like shame is. People are so ashamed, or they're like, oh, people are gonna think this and this and this, and it's like, whatever. Like, this is the time to do it. So like, I think everyone should do it. And so like, you will inspire other people, particularly because you were in this position of power for so long. And I'm like, so yeah, anyway, great. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. And I don't even remember what I really actually don't remember. Was it about making content? I think it was, right? That was the original question.
It was so that's how Jen did actually answer the question, because it's all tied together, right? Because like, how is our content, all of us here, we create our content from our purpose, right? From what we feel called. So like, really, Jen she found her purpose, and now she's making the content that resonates with her. So yes. So Alice, I'm really interested to hear how that flows with you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I feel like I've been really holding back from making the type of content that I want to make, because it would put so much of myself into it. Because the thing that I've really discovered more than anything is that I am a writer and a storyteller above all other things. Like I really love my spiritual practice and everything. And like, that's really vital and important. But I've come to realize that like, I have a choice of what I put my energy into, and it must be storytelling. Like it has to be writing. And to the fact, like, I feel a little bit restless and a little bit crazy if I'm not writing consistently. And I remember when I was in undergrad, I was a poetry undergrad. I one of these professors, and people will talk about it all the time, where like writers have this like insanity to them. And if you're not writing, it's like the only time that you are at peace is when you are writing. And so I've finally really been taking that much more seriously. The thing about being a writer is it's not a very public process. There's a lot of time just spent alone, just thinking, just like planning things out, finding or finding inspiration for things, doing research. So it doesn't really lend itself all that well to social media. However, I am convinced that there is going to be some way that I'm able to combine everything that I was doing. I still love doing tarot. Like I really love it. And I feel like it connects me to spirit too when I'm channeling for other people. So it's just like a way to stay consistent. But I feel so excited about the things that I'm writing, and I want to write more like blog posts or like journal posts or something like that. And I'm not sure exactly how that's going to happen, like how I'm going to display that. But I think when the work is ready, it will be like, and now this is how I want you to show me to the world. So, because when I first woke up, before I even found anybody here, the thing that I was woken up for, that my guides were telling me about, was like, they were like, you write this book, you write a lot of books, but there's this one book in particular that you are so excited to be incarnated to write. You are so excited to take this journey yourself. And then at the end, other people will read it. But like, I feel a little like I'm Frodo, and I have to go, like I have to go to Mordor, and I've been so afraid. So it's really about like being, there's this other great quote, and it's not even by Hemingway, it's by Hemingway. It says, you can't be a good writer and fear death. And I think that's really what I've been struggling with, is like and there's a lot of information that I channel when I write, and a lot of it is like scary to my little mortal form. And they're like, you can't fear death and write beautiful work at the same time. So I'm facing my fears and doing that. And it is a little bit silent. It is a little bit of a quiet journey, but I know that when it's ready and when I'm ready, I'll also be more public. So
Allis, I feel called to share with you somebody that came across my For You page yesterday. I'm not totally on TikTok a ton anymore, but I was doing the scroll, and somebody came up with a poem. It was like clearly going to be a poem. So I was like, okay, I love poetry. I'll stick around for this. And as I listened to him, he was so, the creator of the poem was so nervous. It was like all over his face, but it was so endearing, the fact that he was nervous about this poem. And then he just went on to read his poem. He was just like, okay, I wrote this poem. I think somebody's going to like it. Here you go. And then just like read the poem, and it was so touching. And then whenever he ended it, he was just like, okay, thanks for listening. Bye. I clicked on his page, and I went and like watched a bunch of his other poems, and like his poetry is fire. It's so good. And his the fact that he's a little bit insecure about it, the fact that he's like unsure of what he's doing, but he's just doing it, made me want to watch more. Like it made me just want to be like, oh my gosh, how can I support this person to be feeling confident in what they're doing? And so I just felt called to share with you, because I really feel like there's no wrong way to do something. So like if you feel called to write and have it be a very personal, deeply private process, and you just share the end product with the world, that is okay. If you feel called to wake up every day and share the first line of your poem that you're writing, and that's it, every single day you're just going to share a line of your book or whatever, like that's great too. If you want to get online and like do a live where like you're just posted up in the corner and people see you in your process, that's great too. Like, you know, let yourself find what works for you by messing up. I just really encourage you, like mess up a bunch so you can know what it is that works.
Yes, that's a tricky one. I'm definitely a real perfectionist. It's a real struggle. Astrology has helped me a lot with that, because I've realized like I have these very tight, my chart is very tight. Like I can see exactly what I'm going off of with this. And I'm like, well, I think this is just how I am. So I think I've got to work with accepting that, yeah, just to be like, it's actually like exposure therapy to just like mess up. It's totally fine. So thank you for that.
Yes. Well, it brings me back to this space today. Like I said, this was so unorganized. Like I didn't hardly tell everybody. I didn't reach out to the creators individually. I didn't post on my social medias. I just kind of was like, "Hey guys, we're going to get together and do this thing. If you want to come, like come on. Hi Star Soul, if you want to join in the Zoom room, the link is on Insta. So you're welcome to join if you feel called." But anyways, so like chaos is the theme, and whenever I first got on this morning, I was like, not sure who was going to show up. And I just told myself, like, it doesn't matter if nobody shows up. If nobody shows up, I'm still going to get on and do what I feel called to do, even if nobody watches it, because it's not for everybody. It's for my purpose. I'm following my passion. I'm doing what feels right, regardless of the outcome. And that has given me so much freedom, because now I don't have to care if people get on and if you like what I'm saying and if I look pretty or if I'm set up correctly. Like none of that stuff matters anymore. Like it's still good. It does matter in the long run. Like I hope to continue to grow and get better and better. But for now, I'm really happy with where I'm at. Just being able to show up in a way that works for me, in my authenticity, and to be able to connect, like genuinely connect with like-minded people. So I'm sure it'll grow and evolve from here, but I'm really happy with where I'm at right now. So okay, I want to like allow a space to move forward into the next section of this, which is talking about where we want to go. Where are we moving? Where are we going from here? Like we've talked about what we've learned and where we're at. So where do we see ourselves going moving forward? And I know we've each touched on it a little bit, but yeah, let's just keep expanding. Where are we going, guys? What's the vision?
What's the plan here? We're going in the circles of Jen. I think it's Jen's turn.
Well, one thing, before we go to the where are we going? There's one thing that I've been doing since Sedona that I haven't mentioned yet, but it's really it's another project that I've gotten involved in, and I'm a former project manager, so even though I'm trying to shed that image and get rid of all that programming, it's still, I still attract them. But I've become involved in a project that is become near and dear to my heart, and I am just so hopeful that it's going to have a major impact. I don't know. Well, I do know it was a crazy series, synchronous events, but somehow I find myself involved in producing a TV show, a reality TV show. We're in the planning stages right now. But we've already cast it. We have 12 wonderful conscious creators that have agreed to come and be a part of this reality show. Some of which, you may know just from TikTok and everything. But the purpose, we're all coming together for the purpose of shifting global consciousness. And the way that we're going to do it is everybody familiar with the Maharishi Effect?
Go ahead and share.
Okay. The Maharishi Effect is that if 1% of a population meditates on the same thing, objective, whatever, comes together to do a group meditation, they can actually influence, and the whole collective will. 1% of a population meditating on the same thing is enough to communicate and transmit that thought into the collective of the remaining 99%. It's also known as the 100th monkey. Some people go by that. It's something, like when some monkeys on some different islands, some would wash their fruit, and when the one monkey would learn to wash their fruit from another monkey, and by the time the 100th monkey learned to wash his fruit, all of a sudden even monkeys on other islands were washing their fruit. So that is an example of the Maharishi Effect. And we are going to use that principle in this reality show. And do you know all we need? Do you know what 1% of the global population is currently? 78 million people. If we can get 78 million people to watch this reality show and meditate on a weekly basis on global peace, what will that do to the collective? So that's my new mission, and that's what we're trying to do with this TV show. And I just would we're having some difficulties at the moment. Like I said, we're still in planning stages. We do have connections, and we already have an audience with a TV producer, the same guy that produced Extreme Home Makeover, several other reality shows that are popular. So he said, all you got to do is give me a pitch deck and a sizzle reel. So that's what we're working on now, is creating that, and we're going to pitch it to him, and we'll see what happens. So any good vibes you can send our way, please do, because really invested in this, and I really I just really feel like it has the potential to make an impact, and so I'm really excited about that, and I wanted to share that with you guys. So
I love it, Jen. You literally took Sedona and you were like, this was big, this was great, but how can we go bigger? Like, go big or go home. Let's do it. Jen's like, no, I need 98 million of you real quick, just for a week.
That's like I love that you were like, oh, there was just this one thing I am working on. It's not a big deal. That's so incredible. And the fact that like all of this happened because you were like had this faith to change your identity, and you're like, no, this is who I really am, and everything that you worked on for your whole career allows you to do this stuff really easy, and you can like put all of it towards everything that you want to put it towards. So like, this is so exciting. This is really inspiring. Like particularly talking to like successful women is so inspiring, and it's like, yes, you're doing it. So thank you for doing it.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys. It's been a blast. I never would have thought that I would be involved in something like this in a million years. But it has been, I've really enjoyed it, and it's been a sense of a source of happiness. And I would not be Sedona was a connection point for that to happen. It was through the relationships that the people that I met at Sedona, and then continued after Sedona, that led me down that path. So I think it is still appropriate to mention in this space.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, just, I guess, bringing it back to Sedona and the people that we met in Sedona. I know many of the creators are not here today, and I just want to say that I have a lot of respect, a lot of love for each and every one of you that participated in Sedona. It was very heart expanding, and I feel like each of you, I had the opportunity to have our own like individual unique experience when it came to learning and growing with one another in that space. And so I wanted to just be able to share on an individual level how much I genuinely care appreciate and honor each and every one of you for not only the journey that you've had in life, but for the journey that we have shared, whether it was 5 minutes, 3 days, a whole year, like whatever we have shared, you guys all, each and every one of you have truly impacted my life. And I know that I wouldn't be here today without the experiences that I've had in Sedona and the connections that have grown since then. So just a lot of honor, a lot of gratitude. And Jen, I just want to one last like huge thank you for providing the platform for us to all come together. I know that there was a lot of bumps and roads that we got to get there, but I just thank you from the bottom of my heart for creating that space and for allowing us to come together, and all support of the project moving forward. It's going to come to fruition in exactly the way it's meant to. So yes.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. It was a beautiful experience. And I guess there was one other big thing that I forgot to mention that's occurred since Sedona, and that is I have retired from my corporate job. So that has been a huge that like propelled me forward in my spiritual journey so much, just by being removed from that toxic environment. And and also that gave me the bandwidth to get involved in this TV project. So, so many things happened at just the right time, and it's just all been incredible. And I can't believe that it was literally not even a year ago. It's
That's
crazy.
that's the part that blows my mind. I was like, literally this snuck up on me, and I was gonna wait until the full year, and maybe we'll do another Ascended Connection when we hit the actual year mark. But I really felt called because we're in this huge shift right now. Everything is shift. We are massively moving in a direction. I can't quite put my fingers around all of it, but I know something's changing. And so, I'm here for documentation and sharing and growth. And yes, it's been a huge platform for growth. So, and I want to share, Lala put in the chat, thank you for sharing, by the way, Lala, really appreciate you. Lala says that I was not in a good mental space at the time of Sedona and did not participate in the chat very much, if at all, that weekend. But I did watch all of it and loved it so much. Thank you, Lala. That really means a lot. It was a long broadcast. It was a lot of work, and I'm really grateful to hear that someone that I love and cherish was able to connect with it. And I think that's something else too. You mentioned not being in a good mental space at the time of Sedona. I think many of us were not in a good mental space because we had just come out of a year of pandemic. Everything was different. Nobody, even in Sedona, the pandemic was still full blown. Like we didn't know, like vaccines weren't quite, like I think the vaccine had just come out, and so everybody was kind of on a different page. It was very big, I think, for us. And so that's why for me it's so important that we were able to push through our like mental blockages and come together. But then also that's for me what, like, Sedona was real. That was the most real experience I think I've had, of just being able to be like, wow, I am here now and this is what it's like. And so like good, like for better or for worse, you know what I mean? Like there was a lot of great and a lot of learning, but yeah, I am now here now. And the wisdom that I have gained since then is just incredible. So yeah, super grateful. And for those of you that missed Sedona, unfortunately, we lost the recording to the ether of the YouTube hole of goodness. So it was apparently only meant for those who were there at the time. And I do foresee another Sedona event happening in the future. We're looking at potentially 2023, maybe 2024. At this point, I am not in any hurry to do retreats, but I do know that there will be many more transformational retreats that PinOak is able to help be a part of and connect with. And I look forward to sharing that with you guys when it comes forward. But for right now, I am very much focused on my personal journey in life and being able to live. I've spent much of my life until now being either trapped in my mind or, in physical reality situations that were traumatic or dangerous or unstable. And so for the first time in my life, for about the last 2 years, I've had stability and peace and calm. And so I'm learning to find a balance between living my life and growing spiritually and understanding that they don't have to be separate. I don't have to take time out of my daily life to grow in my spirituality or to show up, but rather how to merge them together and how to have it all be one, because we are one being. We are not meant to be spread thin and stretched apart. We're meant to be in unison. So that's my mission. That's where I am growing. And yeah, I'm really excited to see where we grow from here. I feel pretty good. How are you all feeling about the conversation today? Do we have any other thoughts or feels that we'd like to share and express?
That's beautiful. I love this conversation. I've loved being able to connect. Jen, I've like seen you around, and I don't think you and I have ever actually like been on a live together or anything.
Yeah, I think we
That
kind
was
of.
really nice. I feel like I know you, but yeah. So yeah, this is beautiful, and I love taking time to reflect. It's been such a lovely evening, like afternoon. Just connecting with people, like, it's tough that we don't all live in the same place, and yet at the same time, like, we're all stationed exactly where we need to be in order to share the light, right? So I love that we're able to come together in community, and I think that it's so important to be able to do that. So thank you, Kristen. I was even saying to someone the other day who like isn't involved in this community, I was like, there's this woman who had recently connected to, Kristen, and she's like really inspiring to me because she just like shows up and she does the work, and she really understands that a practice, like, you show up however. And so Kristen, I really admire you. I love everything you're doing, and thank you so much. So
Yes, thank you so much. You are an anchor to so many.
you are. Absolutely. This space is so critical to so many people.
Thank you guys. I appreciate you. You honor me. You honor me in so many ways. I just cherish you all. Thank you for holding the space for me to show up as my authentic self, because Lordy knows it took me a while to get here, but I'm always so, so, so grateful. And I learn just as much from you all, I promise, every single day. And I wanted to take a minute to just give a super shout out to Tara Jewel Fenmoth. You guys can find them at www.fenmothlanding.etsy.com. They painted this amazing phoenix peacock behind me on the wall, and I just really wanted to share their artwork today with you all. It's super beautiful. So I'll put their link down below the video if you guys want to be able to, to connect with their information. So yeah, their artwork's great. Check them out, like their videos, all that good stuff. And yes, also side note, if you have not yet, please feel free to like this video. And if you'd like to subscribe to my channel, hit the bell so you know when I'm going live. And other than that, I love you all. We're going to have a Sunday session later for a Sisters Circle. So if you want to join in for Sisters Circle, keep an eye out on my Discord. That information will be posted later. And yeah, we've got lots of fun things coming up in the Cove. So you're definitely going to want to stay connected. And I think I want to read a few more comments. No, Skull doesn't have it. It totally disappeared. Like, Sedona was a whole learning experience all in and of itself. It's okay though. We're all good. Lala says, you all really do make me feel like my soul family. Even though I've never met any of you except Kristen in real life, I feel like I know you. Yeah, absolutely. I feel that. Yeah, Lala, meeting you in real life was the bee's knees. We had so much fun. Okay, and then Star Soul says, I had a beautiful experience. Thank you all who came and helped host. It's a cherished memory. Yes. And Lala loves the painting. Snaps. Okay. All right. I feel pretty complete. I love y'all. Any final words of love or wisdom? I'm going to put us on gallery view so we can all just like, boy, thank you all so much for coming. Appreciate you. Big warm hugs. Happy Sunday. Okay. Have Have a great rest of your day. Namaste.
Love
Bye.
you all.